Hi crafty friends, I'm Kelly from Kelly's Crafts, and I am here to give you a tip on how to remove paper or cardstock from your projects after using a regular tape runner without damaging your paper or project. Now, this can be done using liquid glue depending on the brand, but you would need to be removing it very soon after the paper was adhered. Now, this doesn't work quite as well with a strong adhesive like Stampin' Seal Plus. This is a really strong adhesive, and as I'll show you later, it's really not meant to have your piece removed. So this is a very good, strong adhesive. Now, if you don't mind damaging your project, you could remove some of these things you would damage the cardstock and maybe get a little tear in your project, but that can always be covered up with something. You can get creative. Maybe you can cover it up with a bow or a ribbon or a rhinestone, depending on how small it is, another piece of cardstock. There's always a way to fix that. So don't worry about that. So I'm going to be going over tear and tape. This is a good tape, very strong tape. If you need to tape adhere a very tiny area. This would adhere something that would be no less than 1/4 of an inch. And all you have to do is pull off a strip and pull it off. It's really easy to tear. I'll usually take that against my piece, measure how long I need it to be, rip the piece off. Very, very, very easy to work with. I typically use Tombow tape runner. This is a regular tape runner, and since I use this with all of my classes, I wanted to use this for you today. I have been using Tombow tape runner for nearly 10 years, and I have yet to have anybody give me feedback that something has fallen off of my card or come loose from my card. So I really like to use this. Another Tombow project is the liquid glue, and I'll be touching on that a little bit later. And then we're also going to touch a little bit on dimensionals. All right, so let's get started. Get these things out of the way. All right. So let's see. What we're going to do first here is I have a couple scraps of piece of paper just for the purpose of this video. And I'm going to use my Tombow adhesive. And typically when I am adhering something, I'm typically just going to hit all 4 corners if it's a bigger piece of cardstock. So if it's an A2 size card front, I'm typically going to get the 4 corners and maybe a spot in the middle. Maybe an inch or so on all 4 corners and in the middle. In this case, it's just a really small piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to go along the right side. Oops. Did I just run out? Oh, guys, I just ran out. There we go. I got a little bit more out of it. All right. So I'm just going to stick this down there. Like, what the heck? And I'm going to leave that there a little bit just so that you can see that, we've left this on here for a while and it's still going to come up. So I'm going to do that, take that off for you later. I did want to show you a little bit of the liquid glue. Now, with this one, I would typically just put some just all the way around the edge. With this liquid glue, if you can see it, it's enough. You don't need to have very much glue at all because this stuff is sticky. So I am going to adhere this down to this piece of cardstock. Now this is going to be stuck in about 3 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try the same method that I'm going to show you, and we're going to grab a corner and grab the project and twist, slowly twist until that gets removed. And you can see there is no damage. You're going to have some tape residue on the bottom, but if that's an area where you're going to be applying, perhaps this was a wrong size, perhaps it was the wrong color, for whatever reason you needed to remove this, maybe it was crooked. A lot of times that happens to us. Not to worry. If you're going to be putting another paper down, don't worry about that glue residue. Just stick a new piece of cardboard down, card base. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this down again. I just want to show you how later on, how this sucker is going to be really, really stuck. Then I wanted to show you the Seal Plus. Now, like I mentioned, Seal Plus, another Stampin' Up! Product, is a very, very strong adhesive. It is not meant to remove your piece of cardstock. It is meant to put it down permanently. And the reason for that is because the tape runner puts really tiny lines of glue, lots really close together, so that you're going to have to peel it off to every single one of those lines of adhesive, similar to how some of the price tags used to be when they would stick them on products. They would come off in pieces. That's kind of how this would work. So I put some on here, and then I'm going to show you that as we rip this off, it's tearing. In this case, it tore the piece that I stuck down. But again, you know what? If you're going to be putting something here, just put it over the top. Nobody's ever going to know. But Seal Plus, you are going to get damage. You're not going to be able to pull that off. So I just wanted to give you an idea of how that one works. Now let's go back to our piece with the liquid glue. Let me get an edge, and I'm going to try and twist. I'm getting it to move, actually, little bit, but you know, oh, okay. Yep, you know what? I actually did. So maybe it was on there longer. But don't take that chance, you guys. This stuff really does stick really good. So you can always try it because, you know, obviously sometimes it'll work. But just know that liquid glue is going to be, a semi-permanent adhesive. Let's see, let's go back to this one here. And this is what I'm going to show you. So basically, what you're going to do, like I mentioned before, you're going to take one edge, whatever edge you can get the easiest. I'm just going to take one over here. Here's an edge. And then you get your project, and you want to keep both pieces flat. You want to keep your base flat, you want to keep your cardstock flat, and you want to hold on to both pieces. I'm going to be twisting this black piece in clockwise, counterclockwise, whatever works for you. And I'm going to be doing that very slowly by keeping both pieces flat. And there we go. If I were to adhere this on and then try to undo it this way, and it's been a while so it's really adheres, you're going to end up with some bent cardstock. It could be bent, it could be curled. So not a good idea to remove it that way. Try to keep both of them flat. Twist, 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 twist. It's going to shear your adhesive off, and you're going to be good to go. The last thing I wanted to mention was dimensionals. Now, dimensionals, don't get me wrong, those are permanent. Unless you've just barely tapped it down because you're not really sure about your placement, it may come up. But typically, by the time you press that down, there is no getting dimensionals up. So I'm going to show you a little tip today. If you needed to remove something that you use dimensionals on, let me show you how we do that. I'm going to take the backings off. I'm going to adhere it to this piece of paper. Notice I had 3 on here. Typically, that's really all that's needed in most cases. If you're going to do a full card front, you might, again, 4 corners in the middle. If it's a tiny piece, maybe it's 1 or 2. You really don't need a whole lot of them. You're just doing it to give a little dimension to your piece. So now this is not going to come off. It's not going to separate, and it's going to bend your cardstock if you were to try to get that off. So this is what I do. I'm going to use my adhesive scissors, different from my paper scissors, and I am just going to reach back in here between the base and the piece of cardstock, and I'm going to get my scissor in there, and I'm just going to snip. I'm going to take this one now. I'm going to stick my scissors in there, snip. Take this last one, put my scissors in there, snip. So now I have removed the piece. You're going to have half of your dimensional here, half of your dimensional here, but plan ahead. If you're needing to remove this, plan on what you're going to replace it with. Maybe it's a different piece. Maybe you needed to move it, but maybe it's still going to cover up those dimensionals. And maybe all you need to do is maybe add another one here. But for whatever reason, you're going to have left over. And there's actually occasionally you can scrape these and get these off. So you can always try to do that. But this is a great way to remove adhesive when you've used dimensionals. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention was, let's just say you did remove this regular tape runner. And I can see here that there is a little bit of adhesive right here. Not very much. So let me use this for an example because you can see this one much more clearer. Actually, I wanted to show you one other thing too. So let's just say this is your project and you peel the piece off, but there's a little bit of glue residue left and you don't want that. I use this. This is an adhesive eraser. It's well used, but all you have to do is start on the edge of your adhesive and you'll see it rolling back little by little. Let's try, this is a long strip, so let's see if we can just get the whole strip off. A little piece right here. And then it'll leave a little dirty ball, adhesive ball, and you know, I just take those things, I just pull them off, throw them in my little garbage bin, and I am good to go. And let me show you. Look at there. There's nothing that's going to stick to this. Let's go like this. There's nothing sticking to that. That adhesive is gone. So this glue eraser is wonderful. It could also be used with liquid glue as long as the liquid glue has already dried. Almost any kind of glue you can use this. Some you may have to work a little bit more at, but I love this. You can always reach out to me if you need one of these. This is my adhesive remover. Now I also wanted to go back to this one and show you. Let's see, is this the one? This is the adhesive one. Oh, this one. This one here. So this is the one that had the Seal Plus. I wanted to put some seal on so you can see what I was talking about. So I put some Seal Plus down, and let's see if you can see it. Can you see those lines? That's all the little strips of adhesive. It makes a nice coverage, but all those little lines are all little pieces of adhesive. And that's what makes it really difficult when you're removing it to get it off, because it's meant to be a super strong adhesive. So wanted to share that as well. So, yeah, now, again, I used mostly Stampin' Up products. For a description of any of the products that I have in this video, all of the products that I have used will be in the description of this video. I'll put my contact information there as well. And then while you're there, subscribe to my channel. That way you'll be notified whenever I post a new tip. And while you're there, like this post. I'd really appreciate it. And leave a comment. Let me know if you found this helpful, and let me know what kind of adhesive do you like to use? Are you an adhesive girl or boy? Are you a tape runner person? Let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. All right, thanks so much, you guys, for taking time out to watch my video. Now, let's go and get crafty. See you guys later. Bye.